will you also set the pecking order following, meaning quarterback 2, 3, and 4, or will there be a competition right through Cincinnati week?
Yeah, well, I'll talk to we'll have the team in tomorrow, so I'll be able to talk through a bunch of different things with our players. But in terms of, where people are, first string, second string, those type of things, not really thinking about that right this minute, Tony. That's more stuff that will...
Kevin Stefanski is back under fire, and this time the criticism is hitting harder than ever. His decision to start Gabriel in the last game has fans and analysts questioning whether he's losing his grip on the team. Even more puzzling is his sudden hesitation around the Shedeur Sanders debate. Just weeks ago, Stefanski openly laid out the quarterback hierarchy, but now he's dodging questions and refusing to clarify who's really next in line. So, what exactly changed? Is Stefanski protecting the confidence of his quarterback room, or is he avoiding a controversy he knows could blow up at any moment? We're going to break it all down and take a closer look at what's really going on behind the scenes. Before we dive deeper, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and drop a like on this video. Your support helps us keep creating more in-depth content for you.
This year will be that joint practice in week 1. And then this year, just feel like that's what this team needs to get ready. Try to every single year make decisions based on what the guys need. So that's what we'll do.
During his most recent press conference, Kevin Stefanski looked anything but confident. The hesitation, the awkward pauses, it was clear he wasn't comfortable addressing the quarterback situation, especially once Shedeur Sanders' name entered the conversation. Reporters pressed him on why he suddenly plans to play the starting quarterback in the third preseason game this year, something he deliberately avoided last year. His answer? A vague, "We do what the players need." But here's the issue. Shedeur hasn't had real game snaps, and he hasn't been given a single chance to work with the first-team offense. So how does that align with the idea of doing what the players need? If development is truly the goal, then leaving Sanders on the sidelines makes little sense. Fans are left scratching their heads, wondering why the one quarterback they're most eager to evaluate isn't even getting the opportunity. Right now, Stefanski's explanation feels less like strategy and more like deflection, and that only raises more questions.
Last year?
Yeah, Watson.
Yeah. What year is this?
And the uncertainty from Stefanski hasn't stopped. When pressed again about the quarterback picture, his reply was simply, "We'll make that call in a couple of days." But let's be honest. Choosing your starter in such a short window isn't some master plan, it's just buying time. Fans can see right through it. Beneath the surface, this feels less like an open competition and more like another way to keep Shedeur Sanders on the back burner. Right now, Stefanski's answers don't inspire confidence. They sound more like stalling tactics than genuine direction.
What do you plan to do at quarterback for the dress rehearsal game, and what is the timeline for naming week 1 starter?
Yeah, I want to get through the next couple days, but certainly that's something that we're going to do here sooner than later.
When the topic shifted to Shedeur Sanders, Stefanski didn't sugarcoat it. He openly stated that he doesn't expect Shedeur to return this week. But the way he delivered that line raised eyebrows. Instead of sounding worried about his quarterback's recovery, it came across almost as if he was relieved. That's exactly what fans are sensing, that Stefanski might not be eager to see Shedeur back in the rotation just yet. Because once Sanders is available, the coach would have no choice but to address the quarterback controversy head-on, something he seems determined to avoid for as long as possible. Just a few days after the game, Stefanski spoke to the media and insisted that Shedeur Sanders wasn't the only quarterback in the running for Cleveland's starting job. He stressed that his priority was developing the entire quarterback room, which on the surface sounded fair enough. But when the depth chart came out, things didn't add up. Despite Sanders delivering the most impressive performance of the preseason, he was still listed 4th. What made it even more puzzling was that both Gabriel and Pickett were dealing with injuries at the time, yet Sanders remained behind them. That decision left fans and analysts confused, raising even more questions about what's really going on behind the scenes in Cleveland. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get any more complicated, a new report surfaced. This one indicating that Stefanski doesn't plan to play Shedeur Sanders in the second preseason game. That news only added more fuel to the fire. After everything Sanders has shown on the field, you'd think he'd be given another opportunity to prove himself. Instead, the Browns appear to be sending a clear message that he isn't part of their immediate plans, at least not in the way fans and analysts were hoping for. Then, out of nowhere, reports surfaced that Shedeur Sanders was dealing with an injury. The timing couldn't have been more questionable. Just as the pressure was mounting for him to get meaningful playing time, the Browns seemed to find a way to sidestep the issue. They described it as minor arm soreness, saying it would resolve by the next day. But instead of calming concerns, it only made fans more suspicious. Was this really a legitimate injury, or just a convenient way to keep Sanders off the field while the demand for his playing time kept growing? For many observers, the explanation simply didn't make sense.
Because all I know is that what I keep hearing is what you're telling me what he can't do. Like my coach just said in college, but hey, find something that he can do. See, you keep telling me what Shedeur can't do. Well, your job as a coach is to put players in position and find something that they can do.
Even now, Stefanski keeps leaning on the idea that the team is still assessing the quarterback situation. But if you read between the lines, his body language tells a different story. He doesn't seem eager to have Shedeur Sanders fully ready to play. The irony is striking. There really isn't anyone else who can truly fill that role. Gabriel even made a subtle jab at Sanders, despite clearly not being at his level. Yet Stefanski still chose to put Gabriel on the field. Analyst Chris Canty didn't hold back either, bluntly stating that Gabriel could never be a franchise quarterback. Why? Because being the face of a team isn't just about what happens on the field. It's also about leadership, personality, and presence off the field. Gabriel's actions and comments made it clear he falls short in those areas.
His post-game interview, with all of the mistakes that we saw, with the turnovers in the first half, there was clearly an opportunity for him to acknowledge his need for improvement and how he's got to stack days. He didn't do that. And to get the compare and contrast, the juxtaposition from how he handled his post-game press conference after his first preseason action versus Shedeur.
At this point, the situation with Kevin Stefanski and the Browns' quarterback room has become increasingly complicated, and fans are growing more frustrated by the day. From his hesitations during press conferences to the vague statements about player development, it's clear that Stefanski is struggling to manage both the optics and the actual quarterback competition. Shedeur Sanders continues to be sidelined despite impressive preseason performances, while Gabriel, who has shown clear limitations, gets opportunities that raise eyebrows. The timing of Sanders' reported injury, the delayed depth chart decisions, and Stefanski's repeated reliance on "we're assessing the situation" have all fueled skepticism. Analysts like Chris Canty have pointed out that leadership and character matter just as much as on-field performance, and in that regard, Gabriel's actions only deepen the doubts about his readiness. For fans, the overarching question remains: is Stefanski genuinely prioritizing player development, or is he avoiding a tough decision he isn't ready to make? With the preseason progressing quickly, every decision is magnified, and the lack of clarity is only increasing the tension. One thing is certain: the Browns' quarterback situation is far from settled, and how Stefanski navigates it in the coming weeks will define both his credibility and the team's direction moving forward. What do you think about Kevin Stefanski's handling of the quarterback situation? Is he genuinely trying to develop the entire quarterback room, or is he avoiding a decision he doesn't want to make? Do you believe Shedeur Sanders is being unfairly kept off the field, or is there more to the story than we see? And what about Gabriel? Do you think he has what it takes to lead this team, or is it clear that he falls short? We want to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let us know how you see this situation unfolding.